seems like okay. Let's begin talking. If you can hear me, I don't want to wait for power to resume. Uh, can we start with the questions first, if there is any?
So I have a question.
Good afternoon,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. Just hold on for
Yes,
one
sir.
moment. Come in. Hold on for one moment. Come in. Ah, oh, what happened? You didn't come before. Can you wait for some time? Huh? Wait. Get in. Okay, guys. Go ahead. Whether somebody had a question.
So from which book the English to course is inspired?
Cannot hear you. Say it again.
From with from which book the English to course is inspired?
You are saying which book have we used?
Yes, sir. So we
No,
can practice that book. I mean source.
we have not used books for that. If you're asking me,
Like any
which
source.
one have we? I don't understand your question. Are you asking which one should you look at, or which one did we look at?
Maybe both things. Whatever it
Both.
applicable.
No,
So
they are
what I
two
want to
different
do is
questions.
practice.
Nandan, right? What's your name?
Yes, sir, Nandan.
Nandan Reddy, right? Are you Nandan?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. So these are two different questions, Nandan. My point is, as far as we are concerned, we have not used. We to prepare this thing, we have not used any book. Neither do we require you to look at any book. We are preparing a material for this course, which will be available for people at a later stage, but not for not for. We don't need you to look at any course material, any content. Does that answer your question?
Maybe practicing for more questions like that.
You have to speak a little louder.
Practicing, so practice more questions for that thing.
You mean for practicing?
Yes, sir, practicing.
Yeah. So see, for practicing, if you do we have, what we are asking you to do on videos, that should be good enough. If you are asking for practicing some structural exercises from a grammar book, then you can take any grammar book and do their exercises that are good enough.
Okay, sir, because in quiz 2 there is a question like
Good enough for this purpose. Say it again.
okay. In quiz 2 there is a question like is in what is interviewer's feeling? So in that question there is no connection between like that and other question is there is no work experience. But as per what interview said, the answer is seems like there is no connection between what she did. But the real answer is there is no experience. So that's what I'm confused about in English.
No, no. Later, do you understand what he is saying?
No, sir. Still not get it. But I raised in discourse. No one, only students telling their opinions, but not.
No, I know what he's asking about.
Okay,
I've
go ahead.
already seen the question.
Okay.
Uh, Sir, No, actually, the question, the comprehension very clearly mentions it. This is a scenario-based question. So, if you want, I can share the question here. But these people have raised some problem with an option that has been given there. They feel like it is not clearly mentioned in the comprehension. However, what is given as an answer in the discourse is something that we call overreading, which we do not do for comprehension. We'll reply to that question in the discourse itself. I don't think we can do it here since it's a scenario-based question.
Do you
Okay,
understand, Nandan?
no, sir. I don't know the answer. You know.
What
No,
part do
you will
you?
get your answer in the discourse forum. You don't worry about that.
Okay.
Somebody will reply to it.
Okay, only
As
students
far as
replying.
this question is concerned, this is a scenario. This is a scenario based. Now I understand. You were talking about a specific question, right? That we have asked in an exam. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So why aren't you asking your question directly? If you are asking,
No,
it's,
also I want to practice. That's why I'm saying.
okay, all that you want to do practice, I have answered your question. The second part is
Yes, sir.
why this kind of question? This is a practice question. This is the uh, these are the questions that are required for learning the and testing what you are learning in a language and improving your language skills. You will not get the questions like we teach 2 plus 2 is 4 and then you get 3 plus 3 is how much. This is not the test. Understand?
Oh, okay, sir.
So you will need to do a lot of practices and work on more. I mean, you see, I will ask you again. I have been repeatedly talking about spending 30 minutes time on writing something, spending 30 minutes time on reading something, and spending 30 minutes time on watching something in English, which is less than 2 hours. But I still understand a commitment close to 2 hours per day in addition to coursework is not an ordinary commitment. But check yourself. Have you been spending 2 hours every day?
Not only for listening.
Get my answer. Get my point.
Yes, sir.
So if you spend 2 hours every day, then these questions will sound like free flow questions. Um, and therefore, we believe there are certain cognitive processes that are responsible for learning language, improving your skills, not simply practice. Okay.
Okay.
Are there more questions? Are there other concerns or questions that you would want me to address? Right?
No, sir. I don't have any doubt. Anyone can proceed.
The power is back. Yes. Namita, go ahead.
Hello, sir. Uh,
Yes.
Sir, again, my doubt is regarding this exam only, quiz 2 that we have given.
Okay.
The comprehension, I found it, I mean, a little, those the words that we use in day-to-day English are very much familiar to us. But there is definitely in English language there it's a vast vocabulary that we have to understand. So the comprehension had a language. I mean, the sentence formation of the sentences and even the words, those were not very familiar. So answering the questions was a bit difficult. So I was like very much confused on, because I don't know the meaning of the word. I was not able to answer the question.
Yeah,
Uh,
I get it. Like I said before, I
yes,
understand. I can say
yes,
this thing multiple times. Okay. My our point is the following. Suppose there are several words that you don't know, right?
Yes.
To practice that, shall I recommend you to memorize a dictionary? Will that be a possible answer? Look, just look at it. Don't look at it as a response. Think about it. Somebody doesn't know enough words. The question is, how do we improve my words? The only way to improve, as it sounds rational, is memorize more words. Where do we find words? We can give you Oxford Dictionary and tell you memorize all these words from this dictionary. Understand my point? Will that be a possible solution? Our approach is that's not a possible solution. That's not what we can tell somebody to memorize or we shall do. Instead, what we need to do to build our vocabulary, to build our understanding, build the contextual understanding and extracting and or abstracting meaning from the context. For all these things, we need to do these 3 exercises every day, at least for 30 minutes. If you can do more, better. If you are not doing more, at least 30 minutes. Little bit of writing, little bit of listening, and little bit of reading. I am not talking about speaking because that you will do anyway, but little bit of reading. All these things together help you build things that you haven't heard before and also enables you to produce things that you may not have done before. That is the way to practice, and therefore we are not recommending any specific text to practice. Get my point, Namita?
Yes, sir. Like, but still, like for example, in that comprehension, there was like an otter word was there. Otter means a water animal, but I have never heard. Although with the context, I came to know that it's going to be some related to animal, but thraldom to otters, otter fixation, these words I have never heard till now. So it was like very difficult to understand the meaning, even though just a random meaning I can guess from the context, but not the actual meaning of the word. So for that, maybe,
You got it.
as you say, definitely we need to read more, write more, maybe. Yes.
We get it. We understand that.
Like otter is, we don't use it in day-to-day life. So otter is something a difficult thing to understand. What is it?
See, there are many ordinary. I'm not specifically, like I said before, also, I'm not specifically responding to your questions. I'm
Yes.
trying to say what works and what doesn't work. See, there are a lot of words, common words also that we don't use every day. Everybody knows what application means, right? The word simple word like application. Everybody knows that the meaning of this word. Am I right?
App.
How many times in a day do you use this word application? Understand my point? So there are several words that are commonly known, we don't use. There are several words that we don't know. But my actual response is if you keep reading, then this word in the context will become clearer. This is why we talk about reading, and we are not saying do whatever we are asking you to do. We are saying it will work much better, and this is the only way for improving language. I have mentioned this earlier as well in several conversations with you. The people speak English here. I see we can hear each other. So we are not claiming that we are teaching you something that you don't know already. We are talking about how to get to the next level. You have to decide your level, and from there, if you have to go to the next point, then these are the things that we have to do. These things will take everybody to the next level. Wherever you are, to your next level, they will take you. Okay. So please work on that. That will be nice. That will be good for you, and so on. Anybody else? Any other question? Anything you did not understand? Any concept that we are trying to explain did not make sense to you? Because mostly I get the questions about quizzes. I don't see anybody asking any question about the concept or something that didn't make sense.
Sir, I asked the question right in quiz
Just one
2.
moment, one moment, and then Priya, did you want to say something?
No, sir. Actually, when we split means syllables, sir, so we will split in the vowel sounds, right?
We will split it in what?
Wherever the vowel sounds are there, no, vowels are there.
You are talking about syllable, right?
Syllables, yeah.
No, not necessarily. Syllables must have a vowel sound.
Okay, that's okay.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
For example, look, I'll give you a word: accident.
Accident.
Okay, accident. So the break in the syllable, there are three syllables in this word, accident.
Okay.
But look at the first break. The last sound is ka. Last sound of the first syllable is ka.
Okay.
And the first sound of the second syllable is sa.
Okay. I got
So it is not necessary that a word breaks at vowel point. The point is the syllable must have a vowel in it.
Okay, I got, sir.
So if you check act, see, dent, see, all these syllables definitely they do have at least one vowel.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Great. Go ahead, Nandan.
Sir, in quiz 2, there is a question like what is
Little louder. Little louder.
What is interviewers feeling? That's the question I heard out.
What is it? Say it again.
Sir, there is a question like what is the interviewer's feeling in quiz 2, comprehension type question, interview based question. So should I read it?
Please.
Okay, so let me find it. In that meantime, if anyone have asked.
Sure. If anybody can speak at any time, there is no problem.
So the question is why does the boss? So the question is why does the boss emphasize that they are a legal firm? So why is he emphasizing it? And the options are because Srinidhi profile does not show experience in field of law, and the another option is because he feels that there are no connection between field of human rights and law.
Sir, you will have to know the scenario for that. I'll try and paste that question in the chat. Please give me, sir.
So
Thank you, ma'am.
okay. So wait for that, Nandan, from the.
Sure.
That's what you said, leader, right?
Yes, sir, ma'am said that only. Someone will.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. Because I am not familiar with the context to answer that question, Nandan. Okay.
Sure, sir, I can understand.
All right. Anything else? All right. Nothing. So let me say something in context of this, and I was also planning to talk about something. What one of the things that make us struggle, like Priya was asking the question about syllables, and the other very small but important part of English language is the use of article system or determiners, as we say in English. I wanted to put some of these things through you for you to think about them. When we look at this article, let's start with that. When we look at an article, so there are 3 articles in English. We know these things.
Yes, sir.
If we categorize them, there are 2 types. One is
Definite article and indefinite article.
indefinite article. True. We also know to some extent where we use indefinite article and where we use definite articles.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of grammar books, other places where you can do a lot of exercises and understand them. So there are 2 ways of approaching the understanding of this. One is to understand through exercise. You do a lot of practice and you will get that anyway. You will get it. The other way to understand them is to look at the concept. What do articles do in the language? What is the meaning of definiteness? What is the meaning and purpose of indefiniteness? If you pay attention to these things, then they become, your understanding about these things become much broader and larger. What the other way to approach this issue is to think about, let's see, so there are 2 types of article, and there are 3 of them. So 2 of them are indefinite and 1 is definite. But there is a 4th scenario where we don't use any article. So in a way we can say there are 4 scenarios. One where we use a, and the, and none. These are the 4 cases. So one way to understand this concept, we need to contextualize this. Do we use in our languages, like many of you are here, check whichever language you speak, check with yourself. Do you use article in your language? Mostly the answer is no. Do you use that in your language? Namita? Nandan? Do you use this? Are there articles in your language? Somebody listening? Namita?
Yes,
May not be articles you call it as, but equivalently it is there, sir. For example, in Tamil you see, a apple is called one apple. In Tamil we'll say oru apple.
No. Not that. That's a literal translation. Of a apple, the literal, you are literally translating oru apple. Now, please look at it in the reverse order. We can say one apple in English also. Right? We can say one apple. I want one apple. It's not a substitute that we have to say I need a apple. We can say in English an apple. My question is, why do we use a apple in English and why we do not have equivalent of articles like a, definite or indefinite articles in other languages? That's the point. So I'm not saying it's not there. I am asking you, is it there in your language? I see here people speak Telugu, Tamil. Do you see that in your language?
No, sir.
The answer is no. Then the next answer is whatever whatever is the purpose of this article, how do we indicate definiteness and indefiniteness in our languages? We may not have articles like a, and, or the. Is there a way to indicate definiteness or indefiniteness in our languages? The other day I was talking to you about how spontaneously, effortlessly we learn these things in the first, as a first language. So as when we are learning our first languages like Tamil or Telugu, Malayalam, we know that we don't have articles, but the function of article, that is definiteness and indefiniteness, we learn in our subconscious. I'll give you an example and you can check that. But my main point is we need to learn it that way to understand the concept of articles. So this sounds logical, that definiteness and a mechanism to indicate definiteness is going to be universal across languages. We can say that we can talk about definite things in all languages. So how do we indicate definiteness? Like, let me ask you a question. Let me give you a sentence. I am saying, please read a book. Okay, please read a book. What's the meaning that you get from this, as opposed to the sentence, please read the book?
Saying something.
Specific book, the book is.
The book is a specific book. So when I say please read a book every day, you understand that I am not talking about any specific book. I am generally giving you a suggestion. Please read a book. And I don't even need to tell you that the book of your choice or whatever you want. Please read something every day. But when I say please read the book, do you feel that this sentence is incomplete? The sense is incomplete? If I just tell you, please read the book.
Yes, sir. It feels a little incomplete.
It sounds incomplete to you because a natural question comes to your mind. Which book? Right? Which book are you talking about? Why do we have that question in our mind? Because the moment we say the book, we are assuming that the speaker and the hearer both have shared understanding and knowledge about the book that is being discussed here. When either one of the two does not have this information, then it sounds incomplete, or it looks like I need to ask a question. Therefore, when I say, please read the book, in a classroom situation, if I show you a book, or if there is a book lying on the table and I tell you, please read the book. Or if there is a book that we have discussed in some context and then I tell you, please read the book, then you don't have a question. So the main point that I am trying to raise is definiteness and indefiniteness is shared information. Sorry, definiteness relates to shared information. Indefiniteness does not make us curious about more information. And this distinction we can make in all languages. So let's say we know about a book. We know about, let's say, which one is the book that we are using, Lida? Swami and the Friends. The story that we are using, let's say, Swami and the Friends. So you know the book that we are using, and then I tell you, please read the book carefully. Then you understand that I am talking about Swami and the book. Keeping this scenario in mind, can you tell me how we say this in Tamil, Narendran? Can you say how we say that in Tamil? Please read the book. My point is, you do use a marker at the end of the book, the end of the word book in the language.
That's what, sir. Marker is specifically, I am not inclined. I mean, I'm not seeing it. But when we say read a book, it seems you, as we are discussing, it is any book we can read. So in Tamil or in Indian language, how we can translate is ஒரு புத்தகத்தை படியுங்கள். You read one book, a book or
I,
one
I want you to use it without oru.
புத்தக.
Go ahead. Puttak.
Without oru also you can use, no? புத்தகத்தை படியுங்கள்.
What did you say about after puttak?
புத்தகத்தை.
That's the point that I'm talking about. Puttakatai. Okay.
Pustakko.
Exactly. That's the point I'm talking about. And if you understand Hindi, you will have to say kitab. If I simply say kitab padiye, that means any book. But if I tell you kitab ko dekhiye, kitab ko padiye, that means the book.
The book.
Now, if you look at all languages that we speak in our country, all of them have some marker at the end of the noun if we want to make it definite. So in our languages, the way to make something definite is use a marker. It could be a postposition, it could be something else at the end of the book, at the end of the word. And we don't use a specific marker like a, and, or the in the beginning of the noun. This is the point that I am talking about. And the second point that I am making is all languages do have a mechanism of indicating definiteness. Then we learn few other things about articles, like we do not use definite articles in front of a plural noun, abstract noun. We do not use we definitely use definite articles in front of unique things. Okay. So for example, if I say Namita or Narendra, I mean, if you go around in your neighborhood, you will find 2-3 Narendra. Am I right, Narendra? It's a very common name in Tamil Nadu. Namita, is that true for you also? It's very
Even in Bengal, it is famous, though, sir. Narendra
is famous, but Narendran is famous all over
South Tamil Nadu. Yeah.
Right. So when I ask somebody, let's say some other participant in this course like Namita, if I ask Namita, did you see Narendran? We don't need to use the here to make it definite. We don't say in English, did you see the Narendran? Because despite of hundreds of Narendran, when we are talking to each other, we know which Narendran we are talking about. Therefore, we don't need to use article in front of a proper noun, because all proper nouns by definition are definite in English. However, in our languages, we still use a marker, Narendran ko dekha. Understand the point? Narendran ko dekha. We don't say Narendran dekha. Take this sentence in Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu. You will see everywhere these things. My other point that I am trying to tell you is, while learning a new concept which is unique to the native speakers, which is based on native intuition, if you look at these concepts, how our languages deal with these concepts, then learning of these concepts in a new language, that is use of a, and the, you will make this understanding more substantial, logical, and foundational. And you will not be dependent on somebody told me, or I have practiced this, I saw it in a book. You will learn that part permanently and develop that concept across languages for yourself. This is one of the points that I am making. And somebody was asking me this question, what is that? Nandan, maybe it's...
Sir, I had one question. You said, for example, Narendran is a very common name, and someone asks, "Have you seen Narendra?" Then if the other person replies, which Narendra? Then the original person asking that question would reply, the Narendra which is wearing yellow shirt, for example. So in that case, he will have to use the Narendra. Right?
I don't think we need the in that case also, Ankit. Am I right, leader? We still say Narendran uh, who is wearing, or we can say if there are 20 Narendrans in the room available, then you can use as this marker the Narendran, uh, indicating something else. But my point is, in in front of proper noun, we don't use definite articles because proper nouns are definite by definition. And also the context that you have created, very good effort, very good thing. The context that you have created, when we, you see, if we have this idea that the person I am asking this question to won't know the person I am going to ask him about, then we usually don't ask this question. We ask a question like, have you seen Narendran? Only with the question, only with the person whom we assume that Narendran is common between two of us. Is that true, Ankit, or not?
Yes, sir. But I actually felt intuitively that we would have to use.
You are absolutely right. I'm not denying your context that you are creating, right? But I am clarifying it a little bit, that you can say that in a specific case only when, and that a specific case is if we have too many Narendrans in the small vicinity where the speaker is not clear about which one you are referring to. But if the speaker's idea, sorry, hearer is not clear about which one we are referring to, but speaker's intention is quite clear to the hearer, and therefore therefore we don't use definite article in English. However, in our languages we do use definiteness marker in front of them. So both of you, Namita first and then Narendra. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So maybe in that case, we should use the one who is having something, or
Absolutely.
the one who is having
Right.
something
Or
like
or the in the quotes, we can use the. You are right. Absolutely. We can say one way to say that is the one who is in the red shirt. But Ankit is right. In quotes, one can say the Narendran, only the in quotes, the Narendran who is sitting in front of you or standing in front of you. Get it? But this doesn't make a rule or exception that we can use definiteness marker in front of a proper noun. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Narendra, we have discussed you too much, so you need to speak.
Sir, so many times I am hearing my name after a
Okay.
very long time.
I know.
Okay. Now, if this article is over, then we can go back to that question what our friend was asking, no, sir, regarding the quiz question.
So I'm coming to that. So is this part clear? 2 points only with all these examples. We need to focus on the concept, not just the fill in the blanks type practices. Looking at the concept and practicing it through these things will yield foundational understanding of this. That is, it is going to stay with you forever. Got it?
Yes, sir.
All right. You wanted to say anything else, Ankit? Nothing. Okay. All right. So, what question are you talking about, Narendra? We can discuss that question.
Yeah, Madam Linda, Madam has given it in the chat box. So
Okay.
basically, this is the first question of the quiz 2, English 2. This is a conversation between the interviewer and the interviewee. There is a
Okay.
boss and a person who has come for the interview.
Sure.
So, with respect to that, a question was asked in the question paper saying that Why does the boss emphasize that they are a legal firm? And four options were given. Out of the two options were entirely not correct, which is because he feels that Srinidhi is not qualified. I think everybody agrees that. And because he thinks Srinidhi is too timid. These two, there is no issue, sir.
Okay.
The second one is because Srinidhi's profile does not show experience in the field of law.
Okay.
Some of us feel that this might be the answer also, and the correct answer is because he feels that there are no connections between the field of human rights and law. So if I can reason it,
So, but the
No, no,
answer
no, the correct answer is the one that you've just mentioned.
yeah, I told madam that one. The correct one, as mentioned in the answer, is the last one I mentioned. But just to reason, I took about 5 minutes
no, no,
to
but the
answer this
correct
question.
answer is B. Correct answer is the second one that you mentioned.
Yes.
I have still not read the whole paragraph, but the correct answer is the second one, which is because Srinidhi's profile doesn't show experience in her field in the field of law.
Yeah, but in the third paragraph, actually, she says, "No, sir, I'm glad." Hmm,
But
it says,
right now you said you thought second one is the best, most suitable answer.
both. Why I eliminated second one as wrong is in one of the things she tells, saying that international law boss bachelor's. She's asking, I'm glad to hear that. Well, let's get started then. Would you like to tell me about yourself? She says, the Srinidhi. Sure, I graduated last year with a bachelor's degree in international relations from Wesley's College, where I took to specific field of human rights and international law. So she has initiated the conversation saying that she has some idea about law or she has studied about international law.
That's fine. See,
So I'll finish that, please.
yeah.
So the answer which is does not show experience in the field of law is entirely not right. The field of law, she is having a studying experience. She was a student where international law was taught to her. So entirely it is not right. So there is ambiguity there. How can when my profile, when I introduce myself to the boss, I am telling I have studied law, I have studied international law, and how can boss feel that she is not that profile does not show the experience in the field of law?
Are you
And
done?
I'll finish, sir. And the last one was he feels that there is no connection between the field of human rights and law. I was really confused because as a person who is into law field, any human rights, basically human rights, evolution itself by the law only. So obviously, human rights is the law takes care of the human rights. So obviously, that is boss should know it is related. So, but as a question paper, as a paragraph which we studied, since she has told that she is already having studied in international law, there was a ambiguity which one to choose. Now you can go ahead, sir, please.
Okay,
Thank you.
very nice. You gave the detailed description of why you thought D is the answer for you, right?
Though I don't agree, sir.
No, no, no. But you were saying I'm only saying you have given a detailed description of what you thought was right, right?
Yeah, and in addition, even though I thought that D is wrong, I gave that answer only.
All right. So now I have to say a very simple thing for the answer, and that hopefully that will make sense. But let me first tell you. So I was only confirming that you have described why you chose last answer, last option. Now, as you rightly said, somebody who is interviewing somebody for the position of law, right, would know the connection between human rights and law. Am I right?
Yeah, surely, sir.
So one will be out of the question anyway. Now, when it comes to experience, your reading is she says she has a degree in law, right? The interviewer, interviewee
studied
says
law.
she has a degree in law. But there is a difference between degree and experience. Okay, like I said, I haven't read the whole paragraph, but based on your description, I am saying if I have a degree in, let's say, if I have a PhD, does it necessarily mean I have a degree in teaching? I have experience in teaching? Does it mean that?
No, again, it's only
Sir,
on
I
both
answered
sides.
that question using the same thinking that you are saying. Like
Precisely. This is what
she
I am
had a
saying.
degree but didn't have experience in that field.
Exactly. I like I said, I am again saying I have not read the paragraph, but based on what Narendran has just described to me, that is what sounds as a logical answer to me, that degree is not experience. Experience means experience of working. With a law degree, if you have gone to court, you have argued a court case in the court, that is called experience. A law as a degree in college is not the experience of law. That's what sounds a logical answer to me. This is why B should be the answer to this question.
Yeah, logically, I also felt the same thing, sir. And after coming back and after seeing the answer again, when we go through the paragraph, in two places, you can strongly say what answer I gave is wrong and what question paper is given is right.
So
There are
see,
two places it says because she wants to have a ground. I mean, even we have that question also, firm grounding in legal. So which means she says back, although human rights background, she says I want to gain a firm grounding in the legal aspects of human rights, which means she is not well experienced in legal things. That's why she wanted to join this firm.
sure.
So that even that was there. One more question also was there. What is the firm grounding is there? In one more place also it says. Um, I have been looking to get involved in international law for a long-term role with my fellowship as in 4 months, which means again she in that sentence also tells I want more experience in the legal aspects. So these two places confirms that she is not having much experience in legal things.
Correct, correct. So you're right. You are right. You are absolutely right that we see, now what I have to say is beyond this paragraph. I'm coming to you, Ankit, in a minute. What I have to say is not exactly related to this paragraph. I would say everything that we are discussing is important, and all these things we get to infer even when things are not very clear, if we have good foundation of reading texts. And therefore, I'm only relating I'm relating the two, why I emphasize on reading things. Ankit.
Sir, I had question from a different context, not from this quiz or this week.
Okay, so we close this thing. Are we done? Are we done with this part? Go ahead.
Yeah, this one okay, sir. There is a big discourse also. Something is going on for this, sir. But
Sure.
I after Ankit, I would like to
If
ask
you
some clarification in two other things, sir.
are right, if you are convinced with what I am saying, then you can also put it in discourse. Okay.
Yeah, sure, sir.
You can tell that we have discussed this on the online, and this is what sounds as an answer. Okay, Ankit, go ahead. Then we'll come back to it.
Sir, I had this long-standing doubt, but I couldn't ask it earlier. In one of the previous weeks, when you were discussing about clauses, you gave examples of two sentences. The
Okay.
first one was, John likes pizza in the evening. And the second one was, John likes pizza with his friends. So you mentioned that in the evening, that phrase is related to the verb likes. And in the second sentence, John likes pizza with his friends. With his friends, this phrase is related to pizza.
Right.
So, sir, it's not clear to me. You said it is intuitively
That
clear,
is,
but it's not clear to me.
that is a different question because that is related to two different types of adjuncts. In that, I remember that context where I am making this distinction between adjuncts. So, you see, John likes pizza. John is the subject, like is the verb, and pizza is the object, right? You understand this part?
Yes, sir.
Now, the question is, when we say John likes pizza in the evening, okay, and John likes pizza with his friends, okay, these are the two examples that I have
Yes,
given.
sir.
So, when we say John likes pizza in the evening, so in the evening is related to liking. That is, John likes it in the evening. Get it? Whereas when we say John likes pizza with his friends, then we are talking about pizza being a nominal adjunct. So you need to look at it little more to get into what's the distinction between two types of adjuncts. That is what I am trying to do there.
Sir, as you said that in the sentence, John likes pizza in the evening. Here, in the evening is connected to likes because, sir,
Correct.
but in the same way, we can say that pizza is liked by
No, no,
John
no.
in the evening.
The sentence. Don't change the sentence. Keep the same. John likes pizza with his friends.
Yes, sir. I'm not changing the sentence, just rephrasing it. Like you said that he likes to eat it in the evening. That's why they are connected. Eating and evening.
I will have to look at that context and
Okay,
sentence.
okay, sir. Okay,
Okay,
sir.
but I can tell you it is that is the context in which we are making the distinction between two types of adjuncts. Okay, I'll give you one more sentence and think about this sentence and ask me questions if you have. If I mean, I'm sure there will be questions. You see, if I say I write down if you have pen and paper. Uh, John saw a girl on the mountain. Okay.
Okay,
One
sir.
can ask me the question, why are we talking about adjuncts? Adjuncts and understanding of adjuncts is important for understanding ambiguity. Ambiguity in languages when we speak. So my question is, this sentence is a very simple sentence. John saw a girl on the mountain. Simple sentence or not?
Yes, sir. But the problem is, sir, I feel like the girl is also connected to the mountain, and the verb seeing, saw, is also connected to the mountain.
The
It's
point,
not clear to me.
that's the question I'm going to ask you. So when I am saying I saw the girl on the mountain or John saw the girl on the mountain, girl is on the mountain. But is John also on the mountain or John is away from the mountain?
I think John is away from the mountain.
What makes it guaranteed? John saw a girl on the mountain.
Yes, sir. It's
There are
wrong.
these are the ambiguous sentences. And we need to understand the notion of subject and adjunct properly uh, to understand how our mind deciphers ambiguity effortlessly. See, we can talk about these two types of meaning of this sentence. But if I am speaking this sentence to somebody else, the person who is listening to me has no confusion. Get it?
Yes, sir.
Has no confusion. So I can give you more examples of this thing. Please look at it and also let me see that context of where I am discussing that, and then I can talk more about it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir, one more question.
Yes, Priya.
Sir, I have a good news for you.
Hmm.
Here, a good news is in practice assignment. It is mentioned a good news is the wrong option.
See,
Uh,
like I said, this is. Oh, sorry. Complete it.
so, is the news is a plural or singular? Normally, we news is as a singular form we are using. Sir.
That's the. It depends on the context, Priya. It's a in uh, different varieties of English. For example, in Indian variety, we take it as singular.
Okay.
Okay, in different varieties. So it's when I say I saw and I have a good news for you. Some people can say I have a good piece of news for you. That is good piece of information for you. So in different places English is spoken differently. So if somebody says I have a good news for you, I necessarily won't say you are totally wrong. But if I am asking somebody to understand what the purpose of this discussion, then I can have a question on that. Okay. All right. Can we close this thing now? Narendran, you said you had something to ask.
Only small. If you
No
could,
problem. Go ahead. No problem.
I just can speak tell about this. He spoke with her, isn't it? Here, the use of "isn't it" as a tag question indicates the influence of one's first language. I couldn't understand that, sir. Could you throw some light on it?
Yes, isn't it see, in most of our languages, we say we have one fixed tag questions. Okay, for example, I can tell you about Hindi, you tell me about Tamil. Uh, uh, what was the question? What was the sentence?
He spoke with her, isn't it?
He spoke with her. How do I say that in Hindi?
He spoke with her.
To make it clearly, let me make the gender specific. If I say Narendran spoke with Priya or Namita, okay, I would say in Hindi I'll say Narendran ne Namita se baat ki. Okay,
Isn't it?
to say isn't it, I would use Hana.
Aina.
Hana. This is a common question marker tag question for all sentences in Hindi. Okay, is it true for Tamil also? Do we have a
Yeah, Ilya only.
Right? There is one tag question marker. This is why. So I'm trying to explain you the impact of our languages. So whichever language we speak, we take the common tag, not Hannah, common tag marker, and translate that in English and use it. Narendran spoke with Namita, isn't it? That's why we use it. But English uses it differently. Like I was making the distinction between definite articles of our languages and English. English uses it differently. So John spoke with Priya, didn't she? I'm sorry, didn't he? John spoke with Priya, didn't he? That's how we have to use it in English.
So that is okay, sir. But what is the meaning of the last 4 words, sir? Influence of one's first language. What is that meaning of that?
The influence of first language means whatever we have learned natively without effort from our society, from our surroundings, that constitutes as foundation of our language capacity. So anything else we learn at a later stage, this simply means English has come to you later, first Tamil came to you. That's all it means.
No, the influence
Sir,
of
can I give some context?
Just one moment, Ankit. Let Narendran finish and then you finish. So go ahead, Narendran.
Indicates the influence of one's first language. I don't understand the context, sir, actually.
I'm telling you the context. First language is the language that comes first. That we acquire effortlessly. That we acquire without instruction. And in that language, we use everything. We know everything. But we don't know the grammatical patterns of that language. That is the definition of first language. Understand?
Okay, sir. Anyhow, we'll see.
It seems like you did not understand it. You are just brushing it aside.
No, I think next time again we'll talk elaborately, sir.
No problem.
Before that, I'll also try to do some
Please
research
look
on
at
that.
what is the okay, do you understand mother tongue?
Yes, sir.
So if I say influence of mother tongue, will that make sense to you?
No, see, actually, he spoke with her, isn't it? It is basically a construction of the sentence itself is like that only. Why? Where is the influence of mother tongue, or where is the influence coming?
I gave you the example just now. How do you say isn't it in Tamil?
That's correct, sir. But
so because
if I am an English-speaking person, whether this question is suitable for me?
If you are an English-speaking person, then you won't ask, isn't it?
Then this is not universal, no? Then This question which is
Obviously, this is not universal. That's why I said English speaking person will say, he spoke with her, didn't he? Get it?
okay. So you mean to say that he spoke with her, isn't it itself wrong?
It's not wrong. It's about,
Native speaker won't speak that.
that is, those who grew up speaking English will not use that.
That's what, as we used to say in this course, native speakers don't use it.
Right. I am not using the word native speaker because that native speaker is also a controversial term, particularly in the context of English. Who is the native speaker of English?
No, but last 5-6 months, I have been hearing native speakers only
That's
in
correct.
English. One, when
You
we,
are, see, speakers.
whenever we are speaking, we say always,
No, no,
Leela
no.
madam used to tell native speakers.
Sure, sure. No, that's not wrong. What we mean by when we use native speaker, what we mean is speakers of English in UK, USA, Canada, Australia. Okay. These are the people who speak English natively.
Sir, I would like to clear his doubt.
Okay, go ahead.
Sir, for example, I have many non-native speakers of English who are my friends, and I have seen them using isn't it even in the cases where it's not appropriate. Like, for example, they had to say, you lived in Delhi for 10 years, didn't you? For example, this would have been the correct thing. But they would say instead, you lived in Delhi for 10 years, isn't it? So they tend to use isn't it more often, and they don't use it according to the like haven't you and these things. So I think this is nothing but the influence of their mother tongue that
That's
you
fine. So that is not a problem, Ankit. What Narendran is saying, he doesn't understand what is mother tongue about it. So we
yes
will.
sir, because he is a native speaker, so he is not aware of the maybe context of this.
Right. And I just saw a message from Abraham, A. Abraham. Uh, to give you a clarification on that, Abraham, when I say the idea of native speaker is controversial, I don't mean the whole idea. That is, who is a native speaker of English is controversial because that means we are talking about standardization. We are saying somebody's English is better than others' Englishes. Whereas in our context, this is definitely a much broader point, and I did not want to bring it in this class. Uh, Speakers of Indian English are native speakers of Indian English. This is not controversial. Speakers of American English are native speakers. Those who grew up speaking English in America are native speakers of American English. Those who grew up speaking English in India are native speakers of Indian English. That is not controversial. But who is the native speaker of English? If we say Indian speakers are deficient and American speakers are good, that is controversial. That's what I meant. I don't mean the idea of native speaker is totally controversial because somebody is the native speaker of Telugu, somebody is native speaker of Malayalam, and that is not controversial at all. Okay, Narendran, final thing. Let's close this. Yeah.
Sir, this close it? Okay, we can close it, sir.
No. Go ahead. Finish. Speak up.
No, this question is okay, sir. I feel now I could understand the context why that question was incorporated in our question paper.
Okay. I'm
So
glad.
we can agree what has happened.
Sure. But
Yeah.
we are more than available to talk about all these
Yes.
things. I want you to understand as a whole that we don't mean to brush any question aside and not talk about it.
Surely, sir. I have already experienced that with you. You are readily available to answer. Sir, one more small thing. Sir. This soup is not edible.
What is not visible?
This soup is not edible.
Ah,
I was feeling that it's an assertion indicative because it says it asserts that the soup is not edible.
uh-huh.
So since it is an assertion, I thought it is an indicative adjective form. Am I right?
I'll have to check. I'll have to ask again the context of the question. I'm not getting it.
Question is same, sir. One second. This soup is not edible. Adjective.
So edible is adjective, right?
Nature of adjective.
So this is predicative adjective.
Okay. So it is not indicative because it is an assertion, no?
Right.
Like it asserts that the soup is not edible.
Correct.
Oh, predicative and indicative same, sir?
No. Lida, is there a difference between predicative and indicative?
I am not aware of a category called indicative. It's usually attributive and predicative. Right?
There are the actual thing is attributive and predicative. So let us check about what are you saying is indicative, right?
Sir, in the question itself, there is one option indicative, sir.
No, that's right. But what I am saying is I will need to check to say correct answer of that.
No, what I studied is indicative means something like confirming, assertion, denial, cannot, question, also called interrogation, interrogative.
Where did you study that?
Sir, Grammarly.
So I cannot confirm that. I will need to check that.
No, but in what basis the question one option is indicative?
When we have a question, we put something. I am telling you, at this point, I don't know the distinction between the two. I will need to check to confirm that with you.
Sure, sir. Okay. So this is what
we'll check that next time. We will check that and tell you what that
please,
is.
Sir. Sir, one more thing, last one. Perhaps he could ask for the ban to be lifted. What I felt was he is having the ability to lift, to ask the concerned authority to lift the ban.
Okay.
So that's why I thought it's an ability, but the answer says a suggestion.
Could is not ability. Could you look at the video on could? It is primary function of could as a model verb is to suggest something.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Can is ability. I can lift the man. That is ability. That is demonstration of ability.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure, sir. Okay. Thank you very much. I think last four are there.
No, that's all right. That's okay. I can talk to one person also. There is no problem.
Yeah, I have no issue, sir. I have asked whatever I wanted to ask.
All right, no problem.
These are the four questions I got wrong.
Sure. You can always ask all these things. This is actually the reason why I am saying they are not. We can talk about anything. Is in this hour we are not in a rush and we can talk about all questions.
Sir, okay. Even last time when we spoke regarding the consonants, assonants, and sibilants.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you told you'll be coming back on that subject, sir.
Okay, about the assonance and that one, right?
Yeah, that last one question.
Okay. Later, can you please take a note of this? I'll talk about assonance and indicative next time.
Sure, sir. Sure.
All right.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, madam.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys. Close it, Lida.
I'll close it, sir. I'll close it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.